peoples, we're back again with another video. This is my WWE Off the Mic episode 15. Obviously it's Friday. Just a quick update. I'm just going to be keeping basically Off the Mic to one episode a week, doing it on a Friday. I just think it's better for, if I put all my news into the one episode instead of making two short episodes, one on Monday, one on Friday. So today's one's going to be quite short, but from next week onwards they're going to be, hopefully a lot longer, with just obviously the news packed into one episode. The thing I wanted to just mention as well before I get into the news is obviously I heard yesterday that I heard on Wednesday actually that the New Day are going to be inducting the Fabulous Freebirds into the Hall of Fame, which is really cool. I am going to watch the Hall of Fame ceremony. And because it's whether WrestleMania and all that, you're looking forward to that. With the Hall of Fame, it's good to see people who basically get what they deserve. They've obviously been in the company and done great for themselves. So to get the recognition they deserve is really cool. So and obviously with the New Day inducting the Fabulous Freebirds, that's gonna be really fun to watch. But yeah, in the news, I've got some updates on Sting, Kurt Angle, John Cena and Randy Orton. First thing I'll talk about is Sting. He did an interview recently that was basically about if he wasn't injured, what was his role and what did he want to basically accomplish for this WrestleMania. And if you read it, it's like kind of gutted that he's missed WrestleMania now. I mean, I'm gutted with all the guys that missed WrestleMania, and one of them is Sting, but especially with what he wanted to do. He said that he was obviously going to wrestle at WrestleMania 32, and he, especially with the John Cena injury, I think he said he wanted to face The Undertaker, and whether Sting was healthy or not, if him and John Cena were both healthy, I think they were going to go with John Cena versus The Undertaker. But once John Cena got injured, that would have been a perfect opening for Sting versus The Undertaker, and to finally have that match after all the build up basically. So and all the anticipation over the last few years for it. So it's gutting that he's obviously injured as well and not going to be able to compete at WrestleMania and have that match with The Undertaker, because I just don't see it happening in the future basically, because I think next year they'll go for The Undertaker versus John Cena again, and obviously with Sting retiring, it just doesn't look like that match will ever happen now. So, I mean, I was looking forward to that match happening, a couple of years back, and especially when Sting first, I think it should have happened in Sting's first year, basically. I think Sting versus Triple H shouldn't have happened. It should have been Sting versus The Undertaker. And that's just my personal opinion. I think they should have gone straight into it, so that way you could have had, Sting versus The Undertaker this year, have The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt, and then finish off The Undertaker's career next year with a match against John Cena potentially. That would have been a great way to finish off his career. You could have had the most anticipated match with Sting in a long time, then a match with Bray Wyatt to give Bray Wyatt a lot of momentum out of WrestleMania, and why not have Bray Wyatt beat Undertaker? Because obviously he's lost the streak. You could have the match against Sting and then help build up a Bray Wyatt by putting him over, and then finish off your career getting a win, for example, over John Cena. I mean, I think that would have been a great way, but they went in a different direction. So, but yeah, he said basically that he was going to wrestle and that he would have loved to face The Undertaker. So, kind of gutted we're not getting that match now. The next thing is Kurt Angle. In a recent interview as well, Kurt Angle was basically talking about why he left WWE, but the main story was, did he ever, will he ever return to WWE? Which, I'm a huge Kurt Angle fan. I started watching WWE just after he left, so I never got to actually see him live in WWE. But I've watched a lot of his matches over the years, and I'm not a TNA fan, and I don't watch TNA, but I know he's done really well for himself there, and I have seen a couple of his matches from there. Just to get Kurt Angle back would be amazing, and it looks like that's going to happen. He said he doesn't see himself returning right now, but he will finish out his career in WWE, which I think we all kind of suspected might happen. but you know, I just think he's probably got a couple years left in terms of, you know, wrestling, and if WWE could get him sooner rather than later and just give him a couple more WrestleManias, that would be, you know, that would be amazing. So yeah, that would be a great moment for Kurt Angle. Is John Cena. Obviously, there's, you know, the match I probably would have been looking forward to in you know, at least the last 3 years is probably John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I've wanted to see that match for so long. I just think everyone would have been so hyped if we got that match, but obviously that hasn't happened. But according to the Wrestling Observer, which is, you know, one of the most reliable sources out there, John Cena is going to be returning in July. I obviously don't think that's like, you know, his rehab, you know, having a setback or anything. You know, I just think I think with WrestleMania, obviously the next couple of weeks after WrestleMania, I think there's going to be some, you know, new talent from NXT coming up, and obviously with Seth Rollins and Randy Orton returning, people like that, I think after WrestleMania it kind of lessens the need for John Cena. I think WWE could have used John Cena for WrestleMania as much as they've ever needed someone, but obviously once WrestleMania goes, I think it kind of lessens the need. It's still a huge need for him to come back, but it looks like we're going to be getting that in July. Like I said, I don't think it's injury related. I think they might just be, you know, delaying his return, you know, letting him rehab as much as he needs to now that, you know, he wasn't going to be on the WrestleMania card. So because there's no point forcing him back. So yeah, that would, you know, the pay-per-view in July I think is Battleground, so that would be, you know, the time of year he's back, and that would be the pay-per-view he might be back for. So that would be pretty cool to see John Cena back. And the last thing I wanted to mention was Randy Orton. You know, for you guys who've watched, you know, my videos, Randy Orton is, you know, my favorite wrestler, and the injury related news on him is just great, because he's scheduled to be on WWE TV in April, so next month. Obviously, probably sometime after WrestleMania, not too long after WrestleMania, he should be back. And I just think at this point, I think WWE's roster is really talented. It's just it kind of doesn't look that way because of the bad booking. But I just think anytime, you know, they bring up an NXT guy or they get one of these injured guys back, it just makes the roster just more complete and a lot better. And I think once they get all these guys back, you know, they have the potential to have one of the most talented rosters in a long time. And obviously getting Randy Orton back, Randy Orton is one of those guys, you can pretty much put him in any type of feud. You know, it might not be the biggest feud in WWE, but it's never really boring either. He's always, you know, doing something, you know, pretty good. So to have Randy back is going to be amazing. I don't know what role he'll have when he comes back, you know, what type of feud he'll be in and what he'll be doing, but just getting Seth Rollins back, Randy Orton, you know, John Cena, it's going to be great. So yeah, guys, that was my WWE Off the Mic episode 15. A lot of, you know, retirement or, you know, returns in this video. But obviously, like I said, next week I'm going to keep it to the Friday, but try and extend the video a lot longer and have more news in the one episode. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoy, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, it's really appreciated, and leave a comment. And yeah, guys, that's all I got for you. So hope you enjoyed this video, and see you guys soon. Bye.